From the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS2 News at 5 p.m.
Sky 2 overhead as police chase burglary suspects through the San Fernando Valley and into a parking structure at the Glendale Galleria.
That pursuit started near Lake Balboa and ended at the Glendale Galleria.
And CBS 2's Dave Lopez is there live as two of the suspects may still be unaccounted for. Dave.
You're right about that, Pat. There's no active search right now. They have information. They think they know who they are, but they didn't catch them here. They caught one of the suspects. Right over my right shoulder is where the delivery entrance is to this portion of the Galleria parking lot. And this chase, this arrest today has quite a backstory. LAPD detectives say the three men in this BMW barreling down the freeway, the car was not stolen, had just committed a knock-knock burglary in Tarzana. And detectives watched them do it.
We had a little bit of knowledge that something was going to be going on, so we worked with the sheriffs. We ended up watching them do a burglary.
Detectives say they took jewels and cash. No one was home at the time. They're not armed. And then the police started chasing them immediately.
Units got behind the guys as they were leaving the location. We ended up having a pursuit that ended here at the Glendale Galleria.
Some 40 miles away, during which time the driver of this BMW was driving erratically. He wound up going into a Glendale Galleria parking garage just off Broadway and Orange, and the three of them scattered.
I saw him getting arrested, but I think there's one more guy.
About a half hour after the suspects bailed from the car, police arrested this man in the parking lot. Did the other two get away?
I can't say that they got away. We're still working on that.
According to the police, the three suspects, they believe there's three, never got into the mall. They jumped out of the car, and security cameras that are all around picked up the images of them getting out of the car. They were able to use those images to make a positive ID on who they were looking for. Also found inside the BMW items that were stolen from that home in the valley this morning. Police swarmed to the area, blocked off the entire area surrounding the parking entrance to the Galleria, but at no time was the mall shut down, and at no time was anyone ordered to evacuate or remain in place. Detectives say these knock-knock burglars are extremely well organized, have been hitting homes from the valley all the way to Santa Barbara. And police say there have been times where they get advanced knowledge of the break-ins and make an arrest on the spot. This time, it wound up in a high-speed chase. And quite a high-speed chase it was. Again, there was quite a bit of police presence. The traffic around here was jammed, but at no time was the mall affected to the point where they had to either evacuate people or shut down businesses. And as far as this knock-knock burglary ring goes, one detective told me that the number of happenings of knock-knock burglaries is now in the 20s. Back to the studio.
Dave Lopez kicking things off for us tonight in Glendale. A manhunt is on now for an armed and dangerous suspect.
Now, police say he's the trigger man who shot a college student in an attempted robbery at a Pomona gas station. And CBS 2's Nicole Comstock is live in Pomona with details on 3 arrests and what the victim's family had to say about it. Nicole.
Well, we do have some good news to report because that young man, that 22-year-old, is already up and walking again after the shooting here that very easily could have taken his life. But tonight, police still do need your help getting that last guy off the street. An overnight manhunt for attempted murder suspects shut down this Pomona neighborhood. Officers walked a bloodied man out of a backyard in handcuffs. In total, 3 arrests in connection with last week's shooting at an Arco gas station that almost killed 22-year-old Dalen Walker.
I will not sleep, his dad, his family, until this guy is caught.
But his mom, Jennifer, is holding her breath until the man police believe pulled the trigger. 34-year-old Rigoberto Perez is captured.
He said he had the gun to my head, and I knew I needed to do something or I would be gone.
Investigators say Dalen tried to back up his car but hit a pole and was shot several times in his legs and his chest. His mom says one of the bullets missed his heart by an inch. Her son with such a big heart.
All right, so this is Blue here.
Here he is with a pit bull, volunteering at the Inland Valley Humane Society. The nationally ranked collegiate wrestler recently moved home to care for his father, a veteran with a spinal injury. Always giving, until last Thursday night when he couldn't.
He didn't have it. He left his wallet at home.
I can't believe they would let somebody like him out on the street because, you know, it's horrible.
Their neighbor, Jermaine Carter, was upset when he found out Perez has a record. Police say he's on parole for narcotics and is known to carry weapons.
We know that they're going to find him.
And police say if you see Perez, do not approach him. He should be considered armed and dangerous, so just call police immediately. For now, we're reporting live in Pomona. I'm Nicole Comstock, CBS 2 News.
Well, from a packed field to the top two, California voters decided which candidates they want for a November showdown that could change everything from the governor to Congress. The big one to watch, the man who takes over for Jerry Brown.
Yeah, Democratic lieutenant governor and a Republican businessman, they made the cut, and neither side is wasting any time.
No, they aren't. CBS 2 political reporter Dave Bryan is here with the day after Gavin Newsom and John Cox got the nod to go head-to-head. And this is just what? June.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting started. We got a long way to go here. And this race actually made the president's Twitter list today.
Yes.
Now you know we're talking about something. The stage is set for a fall brawl between two men who want to lead California for the next 4 years. But a third man, President Donald Trump, is already becoming the central issue. On the Democratic side, Lieutenant Governor and former San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom, he solidified his front-runner status last night, getting 33% of the vote in a field of 27 candidates. But his Republican rival did pretty well, too. San Diego area businessman John Cox drummed up 26% of the vote following an endorsement from President Trump. On Fox News today, the Fox News channel, Cox said California is sending a clear message: they want change.
I've had it. The people of California have had it. This debate is going to set up a clear choice between Venezuela, which is what Gavin Newsom wants California to look like, and the California dream restored, which is what I'm aiming to do. This state is wonderful, and we've got to change the regime in Sacramento, get the special interests out of power, and return this state to the great golden state it is.
Okay, there's your plan.
Now, in a congratulatory tweet to Cox, President Trump wrote, "So much for the big blue wave. It may be a big red wave," meaning a Republican wave, working hard. Newsom then sent out this invitation to the president: please come campaign for him as much as possible. So far, there are no plans for the president to actually head west to stump for Cox. But as we all know, Mr. Trump rarely backs down from a fight or a chance to get attention. Jeff, back to you.
Okay, Dave, thank you so much. Well, several hotly contested congressional races in Orange County will continue to be the focus into the fall. Each had one Democrat and one Republican finish in the top two, and that sets up a crucial showdown in the midterm elections. A CBS 2 Orange County reporter Michelle Gili is live at the registrar's office to explain some races still too close to call at this hour. Michelle?
And Jeff, as a matter of fact, the numbers have just changed again. That's because the registrar is posting new numbers every day at 5 o'clock. Behind me here, inside of the registrar of voters office, workers are counting these ballots like crazy.
Yeah, there's no question it was record-breaking from the standpoint of a midterm.
The ballot count is far from over in Orange County, where record numbers showed up Tuesday to vote.
Every vote counts.
Estimates are around 38% of those registered cast a ballot, and that's more than any other midterm election here. What you see in this room and many more ballots in the mail still need to be included in the total. Still in limbo, several races that are too close to call.
There was a tremendous get out the vote campaign, obviously, on Election Day, and I will tell you, I was really surprised at the number of ballots dropped off, and that has changed dramatically since 2016. People are getting their ballots early, but they're waiting until Election Day to drop them off.
This ballot organizing and counting will go on all weekend, even on Saturday. Sunday, these workers will get a much-needed break, but they'll start it all up again on Monday. Registrar Neil Kelly estimates this whole thing could take about 3 weeks. Approximately 180,000 ballots still need to be tallied for the entire county. Looking, for example, at the 48th Congressional District in coastal Orange County, incumbent Dana Rohrabacher has the most votes now. The top two go to the November election. Democrats Harley Ruda and Hans Kierstead are neck and neck with less than 100 votes separating them. They are ahead of Republican challenger Scott Baugh, which shows a changing electorate in the once famously conservative Orange County, a change that began in 2016.
Democrats got very active in each of our Republican-held congressional districts, and we now have apparently 4 competitive seats. That's a first for Orange County and certainly a first for Democrats in the county.
Now, to show you how quickly things change, as I said, the numbers did change at 5 o'clock. And in that race for the 48th congressional seat, Harley Ruda was in the number 2 spot by 73 votes. That was as of earlier today. Now at 5 o'clock, that has changed, and Hans Kierstead is ahead by 45 votes. That's the kind of seesaw that we are going to be seeing here in Orange County for the days and weeks to come. That's the latest live in Santa Ana. Back to you.
All right, pretty wild, Michelle. Well, we are still waiting for all the provisional ballots to be counted after a glitch left thousands of voters' names off the LA County voter rolls. Close to 119,000 people showed up to their polling places yesterday, only to find their names missing. The registrar's office blamed the glitch on a printing error. County officials are assuring voters their provisional ballots will be counted in the final results.
The bureaucracy has to take care of those problems. You know, they have to look forward. They have to say, how did that happen? Let's make sure it never happens again.
It's a little disappointing, you know, with everything going on, so it's just a little frustrating.
County officials say the printing glitch won't happen in November. Now, for more results from last night's election, just go to our website, cbsla.com.
Well, stay with us here. A family rift develops following the death of designer Kate Spade.
What her sister had to say that has others fuming.
Plus, released from prison, President Trump commutes the sentence of a woman that Kim Kardashian was fighting for.
Also, 2 on your side. A local day spa with monthly memberships closes its doors without warning, leaving some of its customers with hundreds of dollars in unused credits.
And the numbers prove it. Evening commute is worse than the morning. Why is that? We'll tell you coming up.
Hey everybody, I'm Garth Kemp. Nice day today. We're about to warm things up a little more. We'll get you into the weekend. It's all coming up.